that's perfect because but okay, that's really interesting. They said ambivert. So because basically the fact that it because it like for example introverts are better listeners per se, and of course in social media we have to listen to what people are saying in order to see what their needs are per se. So I guess let me ask this question: why do you think businesses and brands should listen more to their audience, whether on Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn? Why do you think they should listen more on those channels?
That's an excellent question. People don't listen. They are listening to figure out what to say next. So they're not really interested in what someone else has to say. I call those fake people because people that are interested in other people listen. They not only listen to what they have to say, they look at the person's smile. They look at the person's expression, the nonverbal of which we are being judged on 93%. That is what we're being judged on. We're not being judged on this conversation. We're being judged on, my red hair, my earphones, my smile, whether I'm friendly, and it's the same thing with you. Gestures. These are only 7% of what you say is really going to be heard or counted. And so it's very interesting. I'm a communication specialist, so I know a lot about how people perceive, and everything is perception. There's no such thing as something that's true. It is your perception of what's true. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. It makes 100% sense.
Perception is reality.
Yeah, that is so true there, and so and of course that kind of like led to and I highly suspect that is what led you to getting 1 million followers because of the fact that you listen to what people want are telling about, and you basically care about what they want, and that's what really what our customers or anyone wants basically in order to from their brands or businesses. And I think that's really the key to success is listening to your customers.
Absolutely. There's a lot of true takers on Twitter. I'm a true giver. Takers are, like I said, asking you to do something, wanting to introduce you to some kind of new thing. I'm not there for that reason. I'm there to just spread the word about joy and love and giving around the world. And I feel that I've had a really good life. My husband and I just celebrated our 49th wedding anniversary. And so
Congratulations.
we are trying to make it to 50, and we just want to give back. That's all we want to do because we've made ourselves a really good life. We're both doctors. We both worked very hard, and it's just a matter of a feeling inside of me. He's not on social, so he's not interested. He's very more much of an introvert. But I think that's good because we feed off each other, his good and my good. And so I have obviously learned how to be professional, have a private and professional life that is a good one. And so that's what I want to teach other people, and I hope my tweets, I'm doing it.
Oh, it is. I definitely it is. I mean, I've seen it every time on there, and but which of course you mentioned. Of course, you both are doctors per se. I want to ask about you getting your doctorate because most might think that it's too late to go back to college and get the degrees, but you actually got your doctorate degree in your 50s. Can you share about what motivated you to get that
I think I
degree?
was born. I think I was born wanting to learn, because especially since the doctors told me I couldn't, given my eyesight. But I always was a learner, and So at 38, I went back to college for a bachelor's, a master's. And I waited a while after that to have a little fun because I was tired of having my head in a book. And then at the age of I think it was 48 or 49, I went to get my PhD. Because I figured in my profession, image profession, a lot of people don't know what that is. They think it's that you only take people shopping or you do their colors or you're a makeup artist or something like that. And yes, all those things are wonderful, but those are just hard skills. And I wanted to do much more with soft skills, with the empathy, with the helping people to believe in themselves. And like I say in my Twitter handle, you are enough. So I went back to school and I was in psychology, and maybe 3/4 through, they changed the psychology curriculum to human services, and you had to work for a doctor for 2 years underneath a doctor in order to get the psychology. And I said, wait a minute. I've got my own business. I've had it for 20 years. I don't really want to go work for somebody now and give up my business. So I ended up getting the degree in human services with an emphasis on psychology and self-esteem, image, that type of thing. So I can't stop learning. Anna Cheval, if there was another degree, let's say there's an SSS, I'm going for it. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I'm going for it. And I always learn. I'm a continuous learner because I can't read. If you sent me a book, it would have to be an audio book or a large print book. But I can't read. And that takes a lot of joy away from me because I like to read and I like to learn. And so I take a lot of continuing education courses, like they have these places that have these, I can't remember some of them, the names of them, but Fred Pryor seminars and that type of thing. I'll go to a lot of those because I like to just spend the day learning with people I don't know, and we're all learning together. And so I would continue. I just think I just like to learn. I think every answer you get from me is going to be very simple, because I'm not simple, but I like to boil things down to their lowest common denominator.
Yeah. Now, I guess I want to go back to your your eyesight, I guess, in a sense, because I know I saw that you lost it early on, but at that point, did you think when that happened that did you think at that time at the end of the world, or you just said, okay, this is another challenge I'm going to overcome? Because I think when people are facing challenges, I think they might think, oh my goodness, this is the end of the world. Nothing's good is going to happen. But I want to hear your answer to this, because it's very fascinating to see.
Well, I was a baby, so I couldn't have any thought process going on at the time. But when I went to school and I was called cross-eyed and four eyes and all this kind of stuff, I evaluated myself. I would say that when I got to be, I didn't know any other way to see. This is how I saw. My eyes do not work in the middle. They don't see up, they don't see down, they don't see to the side. They don't work together. So cataract surgery is like something that they're wanting me to do now. I'm afraid, because you could become blind. So you just have to see the way you're seeing. Now today I tried something new. I would have had glasses on, but I tried wearing a contact in an eye I normally can't get one in because they're fluttering around. I can't get it in. And so what I try, and today I'm seeing really good. So I'm going to have to force myself to stick that in every morning, take the 15 minutes it takes to get it in and be done with it. But the bottom line here is my way of thinking when I was 20, let's say 20, maybe 18, when I left home or when I was leaving home or about to leave home, I said to myself, everybody's got something. Everybody has to deal with something. I'm positive everybody has something. And so this is what God gave me. And so I can handle it, because God doesn't give you anything you can't handle, right? And so I decided that at that time I was going to be the best I could be, look the best I could look, help as many people as I can, and there was no looking back, because I'm not going that way. So why would I go back into when people were calling me names and telling me all these things that weren't true? I actually looked up in the dictionary a lot of things people were calling me, and I thought, that's not me. I'm a research company. I researched myself. I said, okay, people don't, you could ask Winnie. I look regular. That they don't work right. So people don't believe me because they see that I don't look like there's an eye problem. I can show you that there's an eye problem by doing a little trick, but I'm not going to, because why should I appear as a freak somewhere, especially when I'm well known on the social site? They just aren't. I feel I'm special because of it. I have a special condition. So everybody's got something. I pray till the day I go that they work, because I could go blind at some point. I doubt it. Doctors say I won't. They say they'll just keep getting worse. But that's why I do as much as I do, Cheval, because I don't want to let one day go by without some new experience, some new friend, some new experience, just something that I could do. And I guess that's just me. And I wish other people would be more that way. They don't realize how many friends they could have. I've made several wonderful friends on Facebook. Many of them men that are just wonderful people that just, I work with a Gab radio network, and they're wonderful to me. I feel so lucky, but then it isn't always luck. I've worked hard to get these relationships with people where they know, Joyce isn't full of it. She's really the real deal. And so I was so happy to meet Winnie. She was my first favorite person on Twitter. And I love her. I mean, she's just a great, she's making me the person on her chat next week, the featured person.
Nice.
And there'll probably be others with me. I don't know. But I don't care. I do what I can do. And I do what I can do as well as I could do it. How's that for an answer?
No, that's a great answer. Keep talking because I'm loving this a lot.
Well, I'm glad. We talked each other back and forth on Winnie's chat. As how are you, Joyce? How are you, Cheval? And then I called you the wrong name. I apologize for that. The John, which everybody does that, but everybody pronounces my last name wrong. Nobody can say Knudsen. It's Knudsen, Knudsen, Karutzen, Kutzen. It's all kinds of things, but except the right name. But I just let them say what they want, because there is a phonetic on Facebook. It's phonetically shown. Knudsen. And so I like that Facebook does that. It's nice that they do that for people that want to know how to. I always ask people on my radio, please tell me how you pronounce your name. Because, and spell it, as funny as it might look, just tell me. Like, I'm really good friends with a girl named Beth Freites on Twitter. And Beth's last name is Freites, but people will call her Fratis instead of Freites. So she spelled it out for me. She spelled out freight, like a train, and then ease. And we become very good friends. I really love Twitter. I see myself as the 100-year-old person who's still on Twitter helping people. Because I'll have to give up my business by then, because it's going to be too hard for me to handle it all. But they say that when you get older, nothing changes except for that you do everything slower. And there's only so much time in a day. There's nothing you can do, Cheval, that I can't do. I just take longer to do it. Like maybe you'll see people walking. They don't walk as fast, right? Or when they sit down, they have a little bit of trouble getting up. Now, that's because bones and joints weren't meant to live to be this age. I'm supposed to be dead a long time ago. But I'm still here. Surprise! And plus, I have a sense of humor. That will get you through. Laughing, crying, sleeping, sense of humor. Those are the 4 things you need in life to be successful at anything.